All right, so today we're going to break down something pretty wild. We're looking at Cillian, a medieval warrior who gets dropped, and I mean violently dropped, right into the middle of the 1970s. And the thing is, he doesn't just survive, he learns how to conquer it.
But, this isn't just a story about a guy trying to get by. It's a much bigger question, right? How does a medieval warrior with a totally ancient, ruthless mindset not just adapt, but actually weaponize that mindset for the modern age? How does a predator from the past become the apex predator of the future? That's what we're digging into. Yeah, because see, Cillian's story, it's not about adapting. It's about dominating. So let's break it down step by step how he goes from being this complete relic into the ultimate urban predator.
Okay, so first things first, to really get what's going on, we have to understand the sheer shock he's going through. It's the state they call the temporal abyss. And trust me, it is way, way more than just culture shock. And this is the absolute heart of his problem. It's not like he just moved to a new country. He's in a whole new reality. It's like, imagine being the world's best chess player, and suddenly everyone's playing a game you've never even seen before. All his power, his strength, his title, the oaths he lived by, it's all been wiped clean. The rules have completely changed. So look at this. It really lays out how useless his old power structure is. Back in his day, power was simple, right? Land, titles, how hard you could swing a sword. But in the 1970s, nope. It's all about capital, influence, and working the system. Stuff he has zero concept of. His entire identity, everything that made him who he was, is just gone, meaningless. And this quote, man, it just nails his situation perfectly. Think about it. He is still a perfect killing machine. He has this raw, brutal lethality that the modern world has totally forgotten about. But he's trapped. He's stuck in this bizarre, alien world, always on the outside looking in. A shark in an aquarium.
So what do you do when everything you are is obsolete? How do you fight back? Well, Cillian's whole strategy, his entire comeback, boils down to just two things. Two tangible assets he literally carried with him from the past. And these two things, they become the foundation for his brand new hunt.
And here they are. It's that simple. Ancient wealth and elite martial skill. His gold and his bow, that's it. These are the primitive, almost ancient tools he's going to use to carve out a new empire in a world of, skyscrapers and stock markets. One is pure value, the other, pure violence. And you know what's crazy? He lands at the perfect economic moment. It's pure luck. The early 70s are a mess. Inflation is soaring. People don't trust the government or the banks. So this medieval gold he's carrying, it's not just some cool antique. With gold prices about to go through the roof, his pure ancient bullion becomes a financial superweapon. It's real, tangible value in a world that's starting to feel like it's built on worthless paper. And then there's the bow. I mean, look at this comparison. For your average guy in the 70s, archery is a weekend hobby, right? They're using these new fiberglass bows. But for Cillian, this is a military discipline. It was honed in the absolute brutality of medieval warfare. We're talking a draw weight of over 100 pounds, a firing rate that translates to 12 kills a minute. This isn't sport. It's a level of deadly efficiency the modern world can't even comprehend anymore. So, okay, he's got his assets. He knows what he's working with. Now, Cillian doesn't just tread water. He begins what's called his second initiation. He starts to learn the rules of this new game of power. And what's fascinating is he finds it's a game he already knows how to play. Right away, Cillian sees the 1970s for what it is, hollow. All that chaos and distrust from Vietnam and Watergate, for most people, that's a crisis. For Cillian, it's a massive opportunity. He looks at all of this systemic corruption and rot, and it's like coming home. It's a landscape he understands, and it is just ripe for exploitation. So how does he cash in? His plan is brilliant. It's surgical. He knows instinctively, stay away from banks, stay off the grid. He goes straight for the black market, seeking out those underground collectors who know exactly what pure medieval bullion is worth. And just like that, he turns ancient history into untraceable modern cash. It's the perfect play. This brings us to a really key idea: honest greed. What does that mean? Well, it means Cillian doesn't really change at all. His fundamental nature, his predatory drive, it stays the same. The only thing that changes is the playground. He just swaps the feudal battlefield for the corporate boardroom or the criminal underworld. The tactics are identical.
It's the same ruthlessness, just a different system to exploit. But here's the twist. Even as he's starting to win, as he's dominating this new world, there's one single thing that keeps him tethered to the past. And this is where we start to see the tragic, hidden price of his success. You see, when Cillian goes to an archery range, he's not there to make friends or have fun. It's not a hobby. For him, this place is a sanctuary. It's his solitary fortress, the only place he can find a moment of peace. But think about what kind of peace that is. It's a peace built entirely on practicing and maintaining his ability to kill. And that is the great paradox of his bow. Back in the 12th century, a bow like his was a symbol of power. It was a tool of war. But in the 1970s, it's an antique, an afterthought, a forgotten weapon. And that's his secret weapon. Because it's forgotten, he becomes invisible. He becomes an underestimated threat that no one sees coming.
So even here, in his one safe space, he's not relaxing. He's practicing for the hunt. Every arrow he fires is a rehearsal. It's a promise of future violence. And that just hammers home how completely alone he is. He's not trying to connect with his past. He's sharpening his skills to kill in the present. So where does this all lead? Well, it leads to the final, tragic irony of his story. Cillian's victory in the 20th century. It ends up being just as empty, just as much of a Pyrrhic victory as the one he lost back in his own time. It basically seals his fate. He essentially becomes a ghost, a modern version of the stingy Jack folktale. He's this figure who has mastered two worlds, the medieval one and the modern one, but he doesn't belong in either. He's physically here in our time, but his soul, his spirit, that's forever chained to the past. He's a ghost of his own making, wandering a world he can see but never ever join. And yeah, he gets what he wanted. He gets the prize. In storytelling, they call this the tainted elixir. He gets all that modern noble power, the money, the influence, the control. But here's the catch. Here's the poison in the prize. He can never trust anyone. He can never form a real connection. He can never, ever rest. His victory doesn't just lead to isolation. It guarantees it. It's the price of the ticket. And that's the ultimate, profound irony here. If you take one thing away, it's this. He goes through all of this, conquers a whole new world, masters its game of greed, only to find out it's just as hollow as the homeland he lost. He wins and finds nothing. Which really leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? What is the true cost of becoming a perfect predator? It makes you think about power and about belonging, and it makes you wonder if it's even possible to have both. Because at the end of the day, Cillian plays the game, and he absolutely masters it. He wins. But what's his prize? His reward is to be left completely alone? The man of the hollow, a perpetual outsider, just a ghost inside the very machine he learned to control so perfectly?